Okay. Right, guys. Thanks for being patient with us. Now, basically, we're going to move on to the next section. As I said, the reason for the stopping and starting is that we are filming this. We need to get this right for the importance to get this out as properly and professionally as we can. Again, just to catch up from a few minutes ago, we mentioned the consolidation fund and Jack Straw, and I just want to sort of carry on with that, if I may, Martin. Now,
right.
The consolidation fund, I mean, for me personally, if everybody knows about this will give enough leverage to sort of bring the government down on its own, because if there's correct me if I'm wrong, there's money out there for us all that basically we are entitled to, and it's a case of just actually putting in a claim and receiving this money. That money is ours, but it's being kept away from us. Now, also, is it right that politicians have, you saying, access to this?
Right. I'm going to cover the points as they come up as I've got them written. That's not to be awkward, it's just the way that it's being put over. If I can just backtrack for a brief second to CMEC and the Child Support Agency once again. The thing is, the funds that are actually made through the Child Support Agency are actually paid into this fund.
Sure.
Now, just for example, if you've got a guy who's got a couple of kids and he's having to pay, say, £300–400 a month towards his children, which I think a lot of us know is the right thing to do. If you've got kids and you're brave enough to make them, you've got to keep them. And that's fair comment, isn't it? You know, so the thing is, what you've got to look at here is where that guy's paying £400 a month. We know straight away that he has to pay his wife's benefits. So she's on income support or whatever benefit she's on, ESA, or the corrupt ESA, should I say. What you have now got, you've got £200 shortfall that's left over. Now, I'm okay with having that £200 shortfall as long as these guys know about it and know where that money goes. But what happens to that other money that's left over? It goes back into this fund to pay for the debts of the country. So now we can see why Gordon Brown doesn't give two hoots about how much he borrows, because he knows that the one-parent families, or I've got to put that right, the one-parent fathers, I should say, of Child Support Agency who are subject to that, pay that money back into the fund. And that is why he doesn't give two hoots. Because if you look at the Child Support Agency and you look at the cock-ups that they've made over the years, with people obviously that have been part of this and the corruption that's involved, they don't even keep any books. They don't have to. One part of the government that does not keep any books, so therefore Inland Revenue and the Child Support Agency is open for corruption. We know that from finding out about the judicial system with people that have suffered at the hands of the Child Support Agency and have been put in courts and have got orders on them, we know that a lot of these orders are totally unethical. And a great deal of the time, it's not even a judge that's actually looking at this person's circumstances. You know, if you used to ask some of these people on oath, they wouldn't be able to, you know, stand up and substantiate being a judge. It could be a solicitor, it could be a lawyer, it could be whatever, but it wouldn't certainly be a judge in a great deal of cases. So that's how we know the system is totally corrupt. And you know, this is where the kangaroo courts come into it, because this is, I'm afraid, a situation with the council tax. You know, we know the council tax is unethical, but it's unethical from the way that it's been portrayed. It's unethical because of the fact that when people go into court, it's not always a judge and a jury that decide on that person's circumstances as to whether they pay or not. And the ironic thing is there, when they look at that person's circumstances, if they're a guy off the street and has got no money, it's writ off anyway. So doesn't that tell you that there's no importance to the amount of money that they actually pull in? And what they try to do is they try to put this bullying theme over to the public, that if you don't pay your council tax, you'll be jailed. I'm afraid times are changing, and where common law is concerned and people are starting to understand the rights and understand exactly what the council tax is about, and we're going off the subject here, but it's a fact. you know, the government surely have got to start to look in their own corners at their own ethics and what they're portraying here. There's been certain people in the Salford area, certain people that we know across the country that have tied the government up in knots, tied the councils up in knots, and do not pay council tax. And my recommendation is to everybody across the country, don't pay it.
Yeah.
Argue the toss. Argue and see what you're paying for. But listen, we're getting sidetracked, so let's carry on. We're back to the MPs and their expenses. The consolidation fund. You know, I've gone cold just saying this because I feel the corruption running between my fingers. Our own MPs are allowed to go to this fund, take £1 million out, and not even need to answer as to where that money's going.
It's not accountable for it at all, yeah.
So therefore, it's not accounted for. That in itself is a breeding ground for corruption. I wonder if all you guys out there, how many of you have thought after today, if we was all to put in an information request, a freedom of information request regarding this fund and good old Gordon Brown. Can you see the MPs now sweating at home? What's this guy on about? He's going to drop us in it. Because I reckon there's more corruption in this than whatever meets the eye. And I reckon that these MPs get their hand in this till and they give that money out to whoever, maybe the families, the friends, who, you know, it doesn't matter. It's not accounted for. And that's the point that I'm making here. So therefore, this fund is totally corrupt. Because we would all like the I's dotted and the T's crossed as to what happens with this. And maybe after this interview today, maybe somebody will just come up and give us some answers on the consolidation fund. And maybe the people out there that Google it will understand more and this word's going to get out. You know, where government's concerned, you might as well, you know, look at it from the point of view, you've got the boys club. And part of the boys club are all these people within government, different agencies, from probably the council, the health authority, social services, even solicitors, lawyers, MPs, and you know, we're done for because this is pure cronyism, and this is what's happening. You know, I've got a friend that works in a such and such department. This is common purpose for you. I'll make sure you're looked after. I've got a brother here who's looking for planning permission for his house. Don't worry about it. I'll buy the guy a pint the weekend. Few £100 under the table, you'll get planning permission. It's no good denying it because we know that this is what's happening in government. There's a rule for them and a rule for us. And about time that we all stood up on our own 2 feet and recognised exactly what corruption is about. We're coming up now to another break in the film, purely from the point of view these films can only last 9 minutes 59 seconds. So we'll be stopping for a brief minute or two. Grab a glass of water and I'll be back in a minute.
Okay guys, we're back in 2 minutes.